Yeah, Nitro, I mean, he was the face. We watched
He
the
was the face.
documentary. 95 through 2007, this woman was a working professional in adult film. Jesse's gonna get shanked in prison. This kid went from doing book reports to about to get fisted and shanked in jail from whatever's going on here.
By DJ.
Happened in the 90s.
Back to Walker, man. He delivered one of the crispiest roundhouses in this episode, man, that we're going to cover.
I just have to say that show is the gift that keeps on giving. I know it's not a good show, but every time we watch it, it's worth it. It's just like Quantum Leap. It's that same thing where it makes no sense. There's no reason for it, but God damn it, they pulled it off, Steve.
Logic? Who cares? This shit's entertaining, man.
I feel like whoever watched the Walker Texas Ranger that we're going to talk about definitely watched the first Ninja Turtles movie because they basically have a Foot Clan layer that's exactly like what we saw in the movie, Steve, minus the cigarettes.
I don't think the Foot layer had laser tag either, but hey.
That's the upgrades. That's the 90s just jump up. And how to be a thug and have a laser tag set up, that's the dream. That's the Scarface dream that Matt G has.
But this also features, like, probably, I think universally, if you did a poll who your favorite American Gladiator was, it would be this guy.
Dude, I was more of a surfer boy guy. Malibu, I think his name was. I kind of thought he was cool. He didn't last that long, but he was memorable. And also, dude, Gemini, that looks like Ron Simmons' cousin. They're both just tough old black dudes. Gemini was a badass dude.
It was 1A and 1B because he was up. Yeah, because he's
who was the sort of flat top guile looking guy? Laser? I don't know.
I feel like one of them was a laser.
I think there was a laser. I just can't remember. They started throwing a couple of different ones in there at the end. But yeah, Nitro, I mean, he was the face. We watched the documentary.
Yeah, I mean, they put him out there, man. And who was the sister? Because she's fine. Still to this day, she's cold.
No, I mean, that's the nice thing about most of those, like the people on that, they aged well like a motherfucker because, I mean, they were in shape when they got the gig, They were all just beefcakes in their own respect. Blaze, Steve, that's nasty. Blaze?
There was a Z in there somewhere.
Dude, I gotta be honest with you. I'm looking at the list of gladiators that they had, and I know this show might have gone on well. Like, there's obviously some modern day ones, but there is a lot, dude. Also, Laser was the guy I'm thinking of. There was a guy named Atlas who was also like sort of a Hardy Boys looking dude, white dude, but he had more of like a wispy, like Kennedy do. But also, I'm seeing Cobra. I'm seeing Bronco, Flame.
Jeez,
dude! Shout out, dude.
They all sound like Sega characters.
Thunder looks like a lunatic, and then they just kind of got lazy with it. There's two guys named Tank. So Tank, dude. Turbo is dope. There was a white and a black Titan also, just so you know. Just shout out.
One of them was Jax in Mortal Kombat 2.
That was Saber.
Yep.
Saber's one of the least buff looking American gladiators I've seen in these pictures, dude.
But he's black and bald.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a bold statement.
That fits the bill. How do you feel about us putting these crazy looking things on your arms? Cool? Okay. Can you act? Fuck it. It doesn't matter. Sonya.
Yeah. Damn Jax. This is Steve G and Mad G with Happened in the 90s, a show where we talk about what happened in the 90s. So get out your 12 monkeys and your 4 non-blods, because tonight's the night, please. My whole crew makes G's. Tonight's the night, baby, so blow up on these. Tonight is the night. Tonight.
Damn, Steve. That's very apropos to the show, 2 G's. And you just said that shit? I love that.
Shout out to Daddy Mac and the Mac Daddy. Well, today, my friend, we're talking all things January 9th in the 90s. Let's rock. Starting off in 1995, Married with Children is airing season 9, episode 14, The Naked and the Dead, but mostly the naked. Al and his friends are forced to take their wives to a strip club. Hilarity ensues.
I mean, how many strip club episodes do they have in the show, Steve? Because it used to be the Gentleman's Club, I believe. This is actually the first time that I'm reading on IMDb that we're introduced to the Jiggly Room, which is the new hangout.
Yeah.
I love the name. Also, just a quick aside to see if you think it's a great idea. Kendra and I, while driving through Middle America, has saw a lot of low grade strip clubs. And we thought maybe it'd be a good idea just to do a documentary about low grade strip clubs like now and just see what it's like almost like those hooker documentaries that I used to watch on HBO.
Pimps up, hose down.
Yeah, like Hookers at the Point and stuff. Put a little silky jazz in there, and then just go interview like the midday worker strippers at one of these like what appears to be a house that is a strip club. I just think that would be a great idea for a documentary.
I know a place where you could start, the Tea House in Sandusky, Ohio.
Ooh, the tea. I like how they made that kind of sound classy. Like some old ladies are like, I can't wait for some tea. Oh, what
Yeah.
the?
I can't believe it still exists.
Well, that's for the dads, you know. You've been cooped up with the family all day. Go down to the tea house and just, work off some of that tension. But anyway, Steve, back to Married with Children. So we start this episode off. We're in the Bundy household, but it's the ladies. Peg's got her little gal pals over. It's basically all of Al's friends' wives. They hang out while the guys are out. And they're just hanging out, really just eating the fuck out of some food, Steve. These ladies can eat.
Yeah, they had a whole cake, and Peg turns her head for a second, and they gobble up the whole thing.
I mean, not a piece left. They're just licking their fingers, which, I mean, respect, dude. We've all been there. When your cake gets put out, it might as well just be like it's like a shark with a feeding frenzy. Just got to get in there. Kelly comes in. She's not looking for cake because she just got a new gig as the spokesmodel, or she basically is a commercial girl for this new diet shake. It's called Waste Away Diet Shakes, and this could be your big break,
She's the new waste away diet girl. And the one of the housewives, she says she can't even gain weight. And she's eating this ice cream on a bread roll. She's like, I guess I have a good metabolism or something.
I mean, damn. It looked delicious, dude. I mean, I would love to party with these chicks because they're horny and they're hungry. So you're gonna be fed one way or the other. But Kelly, very happy. So now she's just telling everybody her good news. She tells the dog. She runs up the stairs and even tells Bud and his rubber woman. She's the new spokesperson.
Marcy, she alerts the girls and she puts the word out that, like, hey, I think Al's at one of his bullshit meetings. He's at the Jiggly Room. And all the girls question, like, so what do they do at the Jiggly Room? Oh, they do tawdry things. They cut back to the boys and they're like, all right, so this is the game plan.
I think they tell them that they went to the Jiggly Room. Now, Jefferson is like, you can't tell them that I was there. I was working security because he has like a security jacket and he pulls the tag. He's like, I was working security at the something. It's like a dry cleaning, and they all have a good laugh. So Marcy's basically starting a fire inside. Al's trying to cool the guys off on the outside, but she's the downer, Steve. She's got to come in and fuck the party up for Al. That's her thing. They're nemesises.
And he's like, don't let Foghorn Leghorn make an issue out of this. And like, I forget how funny Jefferson's, like, his ruses are. They're so obvious, but like, he's just playing in Marcy's face in plain sight throughout all these episodes, man. It just adds to the brilliance of this show. Because like, he comes in like a couple minutes later, he's like, "Oh, hey guys, where were you doing? I was out guarding stuff."
Yeah. Oh, you guys went to the Jiggly Room? You guys should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, what's the Jiggly Room?
And Marcy, while everyone's there, she's like, oh, it's good that you don't want to go there because she says something about if Jefferson did what these men did, he would experience something that would make Lorena Bobbitt puke. So Jefferson's then like hiding his junk behind a hat. But Peggy asks, like, you know what? She actually brings up a good point. So I think what a great idea would be is the next time you guys go to the Jiggly room, bring us, bring the wives. We want to see what you guys see and just see what, just so we know what's going on. That's it. And this is the nightmare, Steve. You can't have this happen. You can't let them into that. It's like letting Satan into a church. You're not allowed to do that.
There's nothing to worry about because it's just innocent fun, though, right?
Sure. He's like, what are you going to do if we don't let you? And Peggy's like, not give you any money. And he's like, well, I guess we're going to let you go. Okay.
So they have to have a plan, another game plan. I was just like, man, they're going to see how we act in real time, and they're going to kill us. Well, that's
We're
what Bobby.
animals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bob Rooney is. You got to say the whole name, Bob Rooney. That's how they
Yeah.
always announce him.
Even his
And,
wife says that, Steve. He's Bob Rooney to everyone.
and I was like, what makes you think I'm afraid of my wife? Dude, because we're whispering in your garage.
Fair point. But Al always on his toes, always thinking ahead. It's like, look, guys, I figured it out. I got this. We're going to go on Thursday. We're going to take him on Thursday. And then one guy's like, but that's our bowling night. And I was like, idiot. Why do you think we go bowling on Thursdays? It's A cup night at the Jiggly room, not a fucking tea-taw to be seen. And everyone's like, oh, okay, I see it. So that's the plan, Steve. Bring them to the most boring night of the week when there's just no T and A. It's just 2x4s swinging around,
But Bob Rooney's like, well, what if that doesn't work? Well, just think Marcy's up there dancing on stage. Well, what if that doesn't work? Joe, just think that Jefferson's up there dancing on stage, and then Ike chimes in. Well, what if that doesn't work? Well, maybe you're off the club.
You're not in the club anymore. He gets a side eye. Then we cut to Kelly's commercial. She's on set. She's waiting to get her hair done in the chair next to the hair guy. And she's like, oh, hey, I'm looking for the hair guy. And he's like treating her like shit. She asks for a haircut. He's like, he puts his hair, he just like flips her and is like, you're fine. You're
Done.
good. And then some girl walks in who's just as like she's a larger lady, Steve. She's a BB dub. But she's looking to talk to somebody, and Kelly's like trying to give her like some notes. She's like, yeah, the guy from wardrobe, he's an idiot. He kept asking me to change. I did like change into 30 outfits. He doesn't know what he wants. So it seems like she got me too, or something illicit happened. But Kelly's on set. That's really all that matters, Steve.
And Mark, the director, he's like, when I say action, I want you to turn away from the fridge, look into the camera and say, and baby, look at me now. Then sip and go, and say the flavor. Can you do that for me? Is a bear Catholic? What the?
But they don't have it even labeled. She's supposed to know what these flavors are just by taste. And just shout out to the director, Mark, who also played a very pivotal role in Seven as the guy who I believe had sex with a prostitute with a needle on his dick. He was like he was a victim in some way, but very intense. He was also in a movie, I can't remember. It was like where guys go to Vegas and they accidentally kill a hooker, and Jeremy Piven and Daniel Stern are in it. I think it's called Very Bad Things, actually. He's in a lot. He's in a lot of sexy, weird movies with a bunch of dudes in it, but Mark's, he's kind of bored. He's doing this commercial, but Kelly, she's excited. She gets to drink in these shakes. So she gets the first one and she's like kind of chokes it down, like, look at me now, does it? Looks at the camera and she has to be like, and whatever the flavor is. Well, the first one's cow pie, Steve. So,
That's actually cherry. Hey, we need to start putting labels on these cups now.
But she also gets to taste the whole line, I guess. So we get kiwi. That sounds okay.
Yeah.
Cabbage. That's no go. Salmon. That's where it starts to get caught in her throat a little bit. And then whatever the last one is, she just pukes it up, Steve.
Yeah, all on the floor. And come back to the Jiggly room, and it is the itty bitty titty committee. Jefferson, he comes in there with Marcy, and he's in disguise. He's like, I'm a pillar of this community. I can't let people see me in a place like this. And one of the waitresses walked by, like, hey, Jefferson. Like, oh, hey, oh. Yeah.
I knew it. These idiots. I do think it's hilarious. He looks like Salman Rushdie, who is all like famously hiding from.
Author?
Yeah, exactly. He's just out here, but he's got, he's in disguise.
Didn't he get
Uh,
shot like recently?
yeah, he actually came out of hiding, and that was probably a bad look. When people do a fat twat on you, they really keep
They
notes on
mean
that.
it. Yeah.
Also weird is that the Bundy family's basically in the strip club now, but then we look over across the way, Bud's getting a lap dance at the Jiggly room. He's a regular, but weirdly enough the stripper calls him Dr. Bundy. So I don't know if he's telling tall tales or what, Steve.
Because it's funny, like Peg asked Al, like, you think this would be a good example? Think about what you're going to set for Bud. And that's when they cut to him. This motherfucker's getting a lap dance.
And he's into it. I mean, he's about to pay for the fucking champagne room, Steve. He has some money. It's that money that Al gave him in the intro. That's what actually the allowance goes to. Is just right to the strip club. But we kind of go through the night a little bit, and it's all going to Al's plan. There's no titties on the stage. I don't even know why these women are wearing a bra. They're throwing panties, they're throwing shit, but Al and the boys, they're like, oh, I think the last time we were here, we were talking about healthcare or something. So they get into these deep discussions while strippers are just stripping. And I think this is probably, to be honest with you, Steve, this might be a good way just to like work. You got everything. It's like having entertainment. You can sit there, get a laptop out, brainstorm. Maybe this is how we write scripts.
Hey,
Go to the
I've
strip club.
heard, I've heard there's some of the best environments for business meetings.
Yeah.
And Peg, she's buying into this. She's like, you know what? This isn't anything like I thought it'd be. And then the boys cut to a discussion of Ginger or Marianne, Gilligan or Mrs. Howe.
Yeah.
They have to think about that. Like, and then Peg's like, Al, we have to apologize. If this is the way things are going, like, hey, that's fine. Let you have your time. Me and the girls, we're going to leave. And so he stops and like, well, we were just talking about auto health reform too. You might want to sit down for this.
Yeah.
And
Dewey Decimal Systems right after that. So we're going to get into it. Stay, enjoy. And they're just putting it on, they honestly, if they would have just shut the fuck up, Peg and the ladies might have gotten out before disaster strikes. But then Steve, unfortunately, like all good plans, you can't always see all the variables, because as Al and Peg are like saying goodbye, the strip club owner, MC, it's this Indian dude, and he's like, she's here for one night. This is a special guest, and it's Rocky Mountains, Steve. Rocky Mountains is here. It isn't A Cup night anymore because Rocky Mountains is just, blessed.
yeah, she got them G units, and her real name is Lethal Weapons. Well, that's her stage name. And
Yes.
this is
Yeah.
the first time she has performed in anything not X-rated.
It's the only time, Steve, because like you, I had to find out this woman's career. There's only, right before this, she just done the humongous Hooters of Napoli video in 95. Or
Instant
actually,
classic.
yeah, but then right after Married with Children, 95 through 2007, this woman was a working professional in adult film.
Well, you forgot Big Tit Racket right after Married with Children, and then
Yeah.
after that, Depraved Fantasies 4, The Undead, followed by Booby Prize, then Coming Out By.
Something I would just want to point out, though, to the people like cataloging the career or naming the videos she was in, I just want to point out that she was in Big Knockers 18 in 95, but then also in 95, she was in Big Knockers 11, which I think came out after Big Knockers 18. And I'm confused because I'm trying to follow a story, and I just feel like if
Right.
I'm using the numbers, I'm not going to be able to know like what's going on in Big Knockers at this point.
Maybe they were going the George Lucas route, you think?
Or maybe it's like a Tarantino thing where once they release the whole catalog, you watch it again and you're like, dude, Big Knockers 2, they were talking about what's in Big Knockers 20 fucking 10 years later. But yeah, dude, she was also in a movie called Switch Hitters 8, and I'm wondering what I'd love to know what that's about.
Is that a part of the Big Knockers universe? or are any of them related?
Yeah, and also I think there's like some side, maybe some like offshoots of big knockers. There's big bust bangers too. So I think this woman's tied into the big bust, big naturals category that we go to in Pornhub. But yeah, dude, shout out to Lethal Weapons because the name fantastic, the legacy that you've put out here, including a video called "Watch Me Pee." Is something
Oh,
glorious. And that was one of her later movies, Steve. That was actually 1 year before we graduated high school, 2000.
just in time.
And then she came back 6 years later for Full House 2. So, it's a whole thing. And then the last movie, her retirement film, Blue Ribbon Butt Fucks 3 to complete the trilogy.
Collector's item right there.
Yeah, but I like that she has all of those, but known for Melon Man, Big Boo Bikini Bash, and then just an episode of Married with Children.
I love that Married with Children would be the only all like non-X rated thing that she does. Like for that, Lethal Weapons, you're goaded.
Yeah, dude. She said, "Why would I do anything else? I went out on top. I'm in a legendary show." And also, if you think about it, she's breaking ground in Married with Children because this is the first time we as a viewer get to see the Jiggly room. And
Yeah.
at like what a fucking grand opening, Steve.
She broke it in. She
Lethal
dropped the
Weapons,
Jiggly room
Steve.
cherry.
Yeah, dude. Shout out. And what is her name in this again? Because I totally forgot.
Rocky Mountains with an
Yeah.
eye.
Yeah. She's right there, Steve. She's a full blooded American. That's
She's
what that
blessed,
is.
baby.
Yeah, dude. But now, Steve, the vibe's fucked up because even Peg, when they showed all the guys who were just like ignoring all the little titties, they can that's nothing. Their kryptonite comes out like Al and the boys are like licking their lips. One of them was drooling. But even Peg, like when she sees the titties, she's like, she's wide eyed, you know?
It's OMG face. And Ike, he's so discombobulated, he pours champagne on his wife. And who would find this sexy? And then you cut to Jefferson, who's got a hard beard now.
Yeah, dude, everything got erect. And then the boys can't help it. The dog came out, Steve. Divorces, Steve. It's about to happen because these guys are on the stage just getting frisky with it, you know?
They couldn't take it anymore. It's party time. All the guys rush the stage, and like Al has one move. When you say you can't dance, man, just you would be fine just taking the Al approach, man. He has a simple 2-step. He always does the little.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. Well, now I kind of have been working on my legs, so I can do some like squat moves. I can get down with it, Steve. I feel like I can actually do a little bit.
Al Bundy 2-step.
Hell yeah. But I mean, what are you going to do at this point? You walk into Deja Vu, it's midday. You're like, let's get out of here. But then all of a sudden, fucking the ninth and 10th wonder of the world come out of behind the curtain. You just got to stay, Steve. Fuck the marriage.
By God.
But now, as they're on stage, all the guys are still at least cognizant that they're, it's like, well, fuck, dude, what are we going to do, Al? And I was like, got to bite the bull and just, what we got to do. You know. And we cut to each one of their houses, Steve, just seeing the outside, but hearing the inside and just the men giving their wives just a nice deep dicking, but probably thinking of those healthy knocks that Rocky Mountains, aka Lethal Weapons, has. I'd be doing that.
Yeah, man, they're drained because you cut to the next scene on the Bundy couch, and Jefferson's like, "Hey, buddy, hey, Al, man, you trying to hit up the Jiggly room? I'm all jiggled out."
Yeah, they're icing their nuts. They're just fucking empty right now. Kelly comes in very excited because her commercial's about to come on. All that hard work, all that disgusting stuff that she swallowed. This is gonna happen. This is it. So the commercial comes on. We see the large chick, the before chick. And we're like, okay. She says her line. we get a nice little transition. We think we're about to see Kelly as the after. We do see Kelly for like 80%, but they cut her head off, photoshopped it, and put the larger girl's head in on top of that hot body. So this is nothing, Steve. This is all for nothing.
Because we find out that the girl is actually the president's daughter, the president of the company's daughter.
She ain't drinking them shakes, Steve. But Kelly, shout out. You're going to make it. You know, you're going to do that. And she was looking, when she was getting excited, she was looking fine, Steve. Kelly, season, what is this, 7? Oh, yeah. I think we're in season 9, dude. Season 9.
Yeah.
Kelly Bundy is right and tight. And she's
she's
got some free protein shakes for you. So there you go.
yeah, she breaks down and she turns to her dad like, oh, like there goes my dream. Then she turns to Jefferson, like, and they basically try to pep her up, give her some enthusiasm. And right as they're doing that, their wives show up, and Peg's like, "We just came from the edible undie store," and
What's it? Did you know what it's called, Steve?
oh, hungry undie.
And Marcy got Jefferson's favorite flavor, butterscotch. Ew, butterscotch and butthole, Steve. Ew. Ew.
Man, not even gonna lie, you catch the right episode. Marcy might get me stiff, but
I like how when they are fucking and you see Jefferson or Marcy's house, she's like, "Oh, Abraham Lincoln," because he kept that beard on, Steve.
Yeah, and then the guys, they just break down crying.
I mean, it's disgusting. That's disgusting, Steve. I'll eat ass before I'll eat butterscotch flavored edible undies, Steve. I'm not eating something that tastes like ass and of Werther's Original. That's disgusting.
Not even if it's Peg.
I mean, Peg, I'll just go straight to, I'll eat the booty hole. I'll eat every motherfucking thing, Steve. Yeah. Hell yeah. Dude, I mean, honestly, what's weird, this is a very like side note, but as a kid, porno, when we got the internet, very early stages, I used to use pictures, Steve, not even a video. I used to get just some non-moving images. And sometimes back in the early 90s, you get fooled as a kid. And one of my most prolific porn selection pictures that I had was Peg Bundy squatting, just like Lil Kim in that very famous poster, hot as fuck, naked as fuck. But it was just a naked chick with Peg's head on it. And I was fooled, but just like people that watch Kelly's commercial in this episode, I don't care.
But somebody who probably didn't watch this episode of Married with Children in 1995, Matthew?
Who?
Probably Tom Snyder, because he was busy debuting the Late Late Show on CBS.
Tom Snyder. One of the unsung late night. I don't even remember Tom Snyder, Steve. I think I know what he looks like.
I remember him via association because he aired after David Letterman, Strike One. He aired super late, Strike 2, and you were on CBS, Strike 3. I know he would have prolific celebrities, on the show, but I never checked for it, man, for all those reasons above. And I know the baton got passed around a couple of times from Snyder, and then Kilborn. He was the host after he left the Daily Show, and that was followed by Ferguson. Then there was a period of just rotating hosts. And then James Corden, I think he would be probably like the last guy. Yeah, he was the last host because they just finished that show in 2023, man. And so it went from 95 to 2023 with over 5,000 episodes. So
that's crazy. That is wild. But this is like this is the go to sleep slot, You watch Letterman. The only person who could capitalize off this was Conan O'Brien, and that's because he's a genius. But just trying to do this, I was always surprised Craig Ferguson lasted so long, to be honest with you. But he did. People like him, and obviously I did too because of Drew Carey and stuff. But yeah, dude, shout out Tom Snyder. He's one of these people? It's like doesn't look like he should be famous at all. He doesn't.
And he doesn't look like he would be on a comedy format. It seems like he would be more suited on an NPR forum or like I don't know, a CNN broadcast. But you brought up another good point. You were going opposite Conan. So if I'm still up, that would be my option.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you're literally, this was the old people that had Letterman on and fell asleep, or people that just like us, our age, that liked Letterman and just left the room and kept the channel running, you know? But I found a funny little anecdote about Tom. He admitted that one of his most embarrassing moments of his career was interviewing Meatloaf, and for about 10 minutes, he kept calling Meatloaf Meatball, and he never stopped. And that's got to be pretty embarrassing, Steve.
It's pretty apropos too at the same time.
Very true. Yeah, I could see that, but I'm sure Meatloaf wasn't very happy about it. And also, that's got to be tough as an interviewer, though, being like, "So Meatloaf, hey Meatloaf," like stop. It's hard to just say all the time.
It's kind of like the Jim Rome, Chris Everett thing.
What was he called? You call me that again, I'm gonna come over this table and beat your ass.
Yeah. One of the funniest moments in sports broadcast.
Jim Rome. I like how petty Jim Rome is. He's just like, "Oh, really,
Chris?
What an asshole." Yeah. Lewis.
Yeah,
Lewis. It's that
all
exact energy, dude.
So that following year, Third Rock from the Sun debuts on NBC. 6 seasons, 139 episodes, man. This is another show, I appreciate from doing this one.
Yeah. I watched that show with my family, and I just, it was just a show. It wasn't like something that I was very excited about, but as an adult, it's made me laugh way more than I thought it would. And just reading the titles of the episodes, and it's all Dick does something, it's fantastic.
I would have tried to cover this, man, but right now it's not available on any streams. And I don't know what that's all about. Peacock, do work. But
It's
did you know
crazy.
this? Yeah, it is, man. Did you know that this show takes place in the fictional city of Rutherford, Ohio, said to be 52 miles outside of Cleveland?
I did not know that.
Go Ohio.
Ohio just getting shout outs. See, here's the thing, Steve, and what I'm realizing. You see a lot of Ohio in a lot of stuff. Like, and just be like right around now, they just released a Superman like movie trailer. It's in Cleveland. Like it's Cleveland is featured in this fucking movie. So like what I think happens is all the geniuses live in Ohio and all the lunatics. But then the real geniuses, they go to LA and they write shit and they write Ohio and everything. So even something like Third Rock from the Sun, probably one of the writers, an Ohio boy, just trying to get a little shout out to his fan base.
Quite possibly.
I love
man.
that.
6 seasons, man. I think they aired this around the time like I was watching other stuff. And I believe it moved around, on different nights. But
It did, but it was part of. They had like NBC had like a must see TV lineup. I don't know if it was one night or it was just what they called all their sitcoms, but this was when it like probably seasons 2 through 5. I think it was like the headline, or like one of the biggest shows that NBC had for a while. It was like super popular.
it was being nominated, and I think it actually won some awards. John Lithgow, maybe even Jane Curtin. It had a young what's the kid's name?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, yeah, he's in there. French Stewart. I mean, he was getting like a little bit of play too. He got a little bit of play after this. And Wayne Knight, dude. Dennis Nedry, Newman. Shit.
Man, shout out to that show, man. I hope you come back to streaming. Get back here, you damn freaks. On that same day in 96, Criss Cross would release Young, Rich, and Dangerous. And this is the album with Tonight's the Night, Please. My whole crew make G's. Tonight's the night, baby. So blow up on these. It's actually the last Criss Cross album. Unfortunately, this is the third and last album. And Criss Cross, they're a group that began and ended in the 90s. Unfortunately, man, we lost one of them back in 2013 from an overdose.
I think what the problem is, you become famous, and I mean, they were child, like, hip hop, like music, music stars. So whenever you become, it's like Lil Bow Wow. At some point, it's like when you become a man, you can't keep the. You have to change the name. You got to change it because you can't like keep the same popularity from when you're a kid to like then transfer it to like doing adult shit. Because I guess like from what you're, I don't remember a lot of Crisscross songs, but they were like tiptoeing that line where it's like, man, these kids are trying to get some pussy in this song, you
Yeah,
know? But I feel like that's just not going to work when you get to like 20s, especially in this time period. It's just not going to fly, you know?
it's kind of like a child actor in a way because you have that cute charm when you first start and you're rapping about, oh, I missed the bus. Oh, I missed the bus. And like, by the time you're 20, 30, you can't just do, like,
Yeah. I want to bust. It's like, is that kid?
I got rated in a drug bust.
Yeah, dude, that does. But shout out to Crisscross, dude. I mean, nobody hated Crisscross, dude. I'm telling you,
I
I
was a
dug
Chris
it.
stan, bro, to the point where me and my buddies, we performed this competition in grade school in third grade, and we performed jump, and we all wore our jerseys and Jordan shirts and shit.
Hell yeah, Steve. Which one were you, Mac Daddy or Daddy Mac?
I can't even remember, man, but I was holding the fort down.
I
I
get.
had
I mean, you're a born performer, Steve. You're the only person I know that really has done that. So it was just coming out.
that might have been my first performance, like outside of church, like being in choir and stuff.
Church was my first performance, Steve. I got a lot of laughs. I used to do the announcements, and I got a lot of laughs. I didn't write this. That was my biggest joke. I was like, I didn't write it. I'm just saying it. That was my line.
That was your I didn't do that.
Yeah.
1999, Walker, Texas Rangers airing season 7, episode 12 of The Lost Boys. Carlos' innocent nephew is forced to confess to the murder of a Dallas police officer. Uh,
This is the ultimate 90s episode of the show, Steve. We get Walker, which is an ultimate 90s show, but it's filled with 90s like B-rate celebrities. Squints from Sandlot's up in this. DJ from Roseanne, shout out, he's in this for no reason.
he
And
sniffed here.
yeah, and as we discussed, Nitro, the face of the American Gladiators, is in this as well, just playing a nefarious badass. I got to be honest with you, Steve.
I always felt like if you could take the Green Ranger and Dean Cain, you get Nitro.
Yeah, you get a cop, like a sketch artist, to draw that, it's gonna look like Nitro for sure, or Lou Diamond Phillips. Early, like La Bamba. But yeah, dude, I don't think we're going to talk about this show. I'll be like, it's kind of lackluster. The only thing that I missed out of this was the obligatory CD gets run over or injured in something you think is going to kill him, but it just, it's just like a cast.
Yeah,
I missed
see,
that.
he sat this one out. I didn't like that.
Yeah, he needed to take a break. He probably got hit by a semi truck in the last episode. But we start this off like in some episodes, Steve. We're in the hood. We're in the Dallas hood.
Oh, that's where we are. Okay.
Yeah, we're in the. This is the hood, Steve. You know why? Because I don't know. It's a little bit dingy. It's a little bit dirty. And then we look over, and we cut into one of the buildings, and like this is what I said. I think the Foot Clan moved from New York, moved straight into Dallas. They got a little adult slash, barely legal arcade going here.
The
Some
zone attack
ruffians.
with no C.
It's in the hood, Steve. You can tell just because of the music. You can
Oh,
tell, okay? And but there's kids. It's that scene from Ninja Turtles. People are playing video games, but turns out a couple of the head honchos in this kid gang are DJ and Squints. DJ, shit got rough at the Connor household, and he's out here, Steve. He's out here, and he's fully bought into the gang lifestyle.
well, his mom got fired from Chicken Hearts. Times got hard.
Yeah. He don't never snitch. And Squints, baseball was not his thing. Wendy Peppercorn cheated on him. He's got like the little 5 o'clock shadow he can grow. He's looking greasy. And they're up to no good, Steve.
DJ, he's shaking some other kid down. like just grilling him real hard. And Squints, he comes around the corner, and in this episode, his name is Bobby, and he gives him the okay, like, no, he's good, man. He's with me. So DJ, whose name is Snake, in this episode, he's like, oh, all right, man.
You gonna get bit. Bobby, aka I'm gonna call him Squint Steve just for ease, because that's what my notes say. He knows this kid. It's Jesse. They're boys. You know, he's like the kid in the gang. It's like, yo, man, you should come hang out, man. Come hang out. But Jesse's a good boy, Steve. He's the Steve and Matt G of this story. He's just got to get home and get to dinner and play some Nintendo. But Blade, we meet Blade for the first time, just like walking past the door. And Blade's like, yo, kid, what's up? And then, you know, Jesse just goes because he doesn't want any part of this.
But they do lock eyes for a brief instance, a little foreshadowing, if you will.
Blade. I like that Nitro, even if he plays a character that's not an American Gladiator, has to have a one word. Like, it's just Blade, you know? That could be an American Gladiator, to be honest with you.
Surprised it wasn't.
Yeah. So Jesse's he's in the visibility of this gang now, but we cut to later. Jesse's taking out the trash and sees Bobby again, Squints, which I don't understand this part of it. Like, you just hang out and like get ready for a crime right by your boy's house. Like, I didn't understand that part of it.
Yeah, what's the purpose of this?
But he's like, yo, you didn't see nothing, okay? And then he goes, gets in a van, and, you know, hops too, Steve. It's time to get down to some dirt.
I want to do it because it's fun. It's fun to do bad things.
And then you cut to Walker and his crew, and they're playing a game of Battleship in real time. I guess they got the drop on this van, this moving van. You know?
Yeah, dude. They've been tailing this shit for a while. These are the Rangers working with Dallas PD. They've got this van on lock. They're monitoring the situation. But we cut into the van now, and Blade, Nitro, the Dom, he's running the show. He's got a rape van. You have to have that as a criminal. So rape van check. All the people in the van other than him are kids. So this
Lost Boys.
Yeah. You know, he might be molesting these kids. He might be doing some sexual like trafficking, or in this case, they're going to this building to rob it blind. And the kids go, he's like, you guys go inside. I'm going to disarm the alarm. 90s style, which means just finding a box and going boop, boop, boop.
Yeah, so he's apparently a good hacker too, man. Because the kids, him and the whole gang, they head into the factory, but Walker and crew, they're right behind. It seemed like they tailgated Blade.
Yeah, you guys didn't see the other cars following you directly to the crime scene, but so the kids get inside. The JV varsity and, you know, junior varsity, everybody's there. They start stealing, like cataloging. I guess this is just a place with a bunch of like computer screens and electronic equipment. I don't know what they're robbing.
Well, Dell. I think Dell's located in Dallas.
Maybe it is. They got a Dell. They actually were about to get a bunch of them. But as they are like doing all this, getting the dirt, Squints is on the lookout outside. Walker, Texas Ranger, and his bros, including some PD guys and Carlos, are on the inside, and they start getting into it. Freeze! You know, most of the kids are like, all right, chill, you know. So it's pretty easy work, but eventually, you know what Walker has to do, Steve. He's got to go to KFC and get a fucking 2-piece special. It's about that
I'm not
time.
leaving this place until somebody catch a roundhouse.
Yeah, dude. Like, at one point, they get a lot of the kids. Walker almost takes a kill shot from one of the kids. One of these kids is down as fuck. He's about to kill Walker, but Walker has like that spidey sense, so he fucking
like
zips
Neo.
him. Yeah, he Neos him. But then we cut to outside, and there's like this kind of chunky cop. Like Kamish is running outside trying to find everybody. Yeah, dude. And he sees Squints at the door and he's like, freeze. And Squints is like, oh shit. But as the cops like coming up these like stairs, Blade just pulls like a fucking Matrix move. He like spins out, blasts the cop in the chest. I mean, then just basically is like, yo, hold this. Like puts the murder weapon in Squints' hands. Like, we gotta go. Or I gotta go. Fuck you. Bye.
And then he runs off. So Bobby, he takes the baton and he runs off as the police come outside and they notice the officers and they see that he's got shot. And they also notice that it was a cop killer bullet that went straight through his vest.
Got it straight from Ice-T. Straight up. So Blade, genius, literally shoots the guy, puts a bunch of prints on the gun. Squints takes off. This is LAPD 101, Steve. Squints is on the move. There's a ghetto bird chasing him. He's all over the place. He's got a murder weapon. Well, he's got at least a gun that's complicit. We don't know that the cop's dead yet, but he's running, Steve, and the PD's on his ass.
Choppers are out, cop cars blaring all throughout the neighborhoods, man. Bobby's on the run, and you cut to Jesse, who's in the room just minding his business, and his dog is alerting that somebody's near. And it's Bobby. He comes through the window Sam style, and he just drops a gun off in Jesse's drawer when he's not looking.
Yeah, I mean, he pulls it. He's like, yo, man, shit's fucked up. And he's like, what's going on? He's like, yo, dude, pulls a huge fucking, like, I mean, this is the biggest gun. This is a 357 or so. This is a Desert Eagle or something, Steve. But Jesse's like, I don't want that. Squints is like, well, cool, but I'm going to put it in this drawer right here that's right here. So just chill. Don't say anything. I got to go.
But Jesse doesn't even know because his mom calls.
Oh, you're
hey,
right.
Jesse. And then while he's like looking out the door with his back turned, yeah, Squints just makes a foul movement and plants it in his drawer, in his boy's drawer.
And then he's like, yo, dude, if we get caught with this, Blade's going to kill everybody. But I got to go because I got a game of Narc back at the HQ that I have on pause. And I got to finish that up. I got a high score.
At the zone attack. And at the next day, Bobby, he pulls up again and he has to take Jesse to the zone attack because Blade needs to speak with him.
Yeah. Blade wants to talk to you. I'd be like, who the fuck is Blade? But they get in there. We haven't seen it yet, but as part of this, you got to walk back through the laser tag zone of the zone attack, which is dope. Again, just being a criminal and having laser tag, that's cool. That's like a house arrest dream thing. You know, I don't think it's necessarily the best thing for a criminal to have, but dope. But we get to see Blade, got his nice setup, and he sits Jesse down. He's like, look, Bobby fucked up. He shouldn't have gotten you involved, but you're involved now. And the thing of it is I need to get my gun back because it was a family heirloom and it means a lot to me. So I need that back.
Yeah, you're going to go home, get the gun, and bring it back to me. I know I can trust you because Bobby told me about your precious little mom. Yeah, so you don't tell anyone or your precious little mom is dead.
Yeah, Blade don't play, Jesse. I mean, Jesse, this is a conundrum, Steve. This is a nightmare. So he thinks everybody around him is about to get killed by Blade. He's got to get this cop killing gun out of his house and back to this criminal. So that's a whole to do. That's scary. But we go to Jesse's. He sneaks into his house, tiptoeing, because you don't want to get caught. You just got to get in and out. Just get the gun. It's like Bruce Willis in Pulp Fiction. You know, I just need to get in, get the thing, I'm out. But as soon as he shows up, fucking Carlos is in here. The cop with his mom, because I guess that's his cousin.
That's his uncle.
Oh, that's his uncle. And, you know, this is that thing that I mean, it happened to me so many times. You have a lie going with your parents or your guardians, you know, and you're like, okay, I'm out of the clear. But then you walk in and the vibe's off and you know immediately that the jig's up and the shit's going down. So this is a nightmare. Not only did his mom find the gun, which she tells him, he's got a cop fucking sitting here too.
And this is the worst possible situation in these scenarios, man. I had to deal with the dirty tape coming from the closet. I had to deal with some zigzag papers in the entertainment center, but a gun that might to a murder of a cop, never. Thank my lucky stars, knock on wood, never had to have this conversation.
Yeah, a loose 12-pack of beer in the trunk, of course. That wasn't mine. But a gun, you're getting your ass whooped And my parents would probably just make me go to jail. They'd be like, Carlos, throw his piece of shit ass in the jail for a couple of days, teach him a lesson. But doesn't even get to happen, Steve, because Jesse, who actually is a real one, if he was a criminal, he'd be great because he's not going to snitch. He's like, instead of being like, all right, you got me, this is what happened, he's like, man, that's fucked up. You went through my shit. This is my attack plan too. When I got with pornos, instead of being like, sorry, you're like, man, that's messed up on your part for searching my room. That's
Yeah,
messed up.
invasion of privacy. Even though I don't pay a bill in this house, how dare you?
Yeah. But I like the energy that Jesse's mom, she's like, found this and she's just holding the gun, like this gigantic piece, like it's like a jerk
Just dangling.
rag.
Yeah,
So Jesse storms out. Carlos takes the gun because he's a cop, pulls the clip out, looks at the bullets, and is like, ah, son of a bitch. And she's like, what's going on? He's like, these are cop killer bullets. A cop just got killed by one of these, like something like this. So I'm going to have to run this by the lab. So now Jesse's mom's like, is my son a fucking Crip? Is this MS-13? What's going on?
and we come back to the station and they notice that Jesse, he's never been in trouble before. He's a straight A student, he's straight laced kid. He's in the little league baseball team and all of that, man. And Sal, he's kind of like the anti Jesse cop in this episode. He's like, that just means he's never got caught.
Yeah. This scumbag's a cop killer, and he just is scared because we caught him with the fucking gun. Can't you see that? But like, Carlos, he's like, look, man, I'm just saying. I just don't think he's got it in him. Walker's like the ultimate like trump card in this. I don't like to use that terminology. Everyone's like, hey, Walker, what do you think? And Walker's just like, I don't think he did it. Need a little more time. Got to look into this. But Jesse's he's being interrogated by cops and not giving up a fucking thing, Steve. I'd be crying like a baby at this point.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I mean, he's solid. I mean, it's jacked up for him to be in this situation, but given the circumstances, hey, man, he's abiding to the street code, if you will.
But they got the gun, and so they're doing tests on that. And we find out in this like little meeting that the cop that got shot is dead. He's gone. All signs are pointing to sweet little Jesse, the good boy, is the killer. And God damn it, Blade. You are an evil genius. I got to be honest with you. Blade is a fucking solid villain, Steve.
He makes it to the Hall of Fame in your book, huh?
Yeah, dude. He's with it. But what I also like now, because Blade's fully, he's pulling all the strings. Like it's almost like he thought about this. He's this is his plan. So now Jesse's on the run. Blade's aware of this. He sends his boys out to get Jesse, and it's like a weird, like sort of teenager kid, but he's got some full-grown men working with him too, Steve. That for some reason are just never around unless like you got to throw a couple heavies at something,
You need to track some people down. They know the city a little bit better. And, he grills Squints about the whereabouts of Jesse. He's like, man, where's he at? Just shaking him down. He's like, I think he's at the lake. He's by the lake at the boathouse. And weirdly enough, yeah, that's where he's at. This 12, 13-year-old kid's at the lake house or the lake.
Yeah.
Boathouse by the lake.
I like that everyone they immediately knows. They're like, where would he go? Oh, his secret fishing spots. Like, they ain't that secret.
Yeah, clearly.
Everybody fucking knows about it. But yeah, Blade's putting the screws to Squints, which is hilarious. Nitro is beating the shit out of a kid from the Sandlot for information. And Squints is he doesn't like torture, so he spills the beans. And then we cut back to Ranger HQ, and Carlos is talking to Walker. He's getting the lowdown from all these cops, and he talks to Walker. He's like, look, dude, everyone thinks Jesse's a cop killer, and if he runs again, they're going to shoot his ass. We know how Texas gets down. So I'm a little bit worried about that. I just need to know, what are we going to do in here? Walker, I think, asks him where he thinks they should find him because he's on the run, and Carlos, obviously, the secret fishing spot. He knew.
He knows where his nephew is, man. And Zach, I guess he's the head henchman because Blade tells Zach, hey, bring him back in one piece. So Zach and his boys, they go by the lake and they find him. Zach sees Jesse. Jesse sees Zach. Is this a Saved by the Bell episode, by the way? And the boys, they swoop in. They got the drop on him, and they're near him. He pulls the pistol out on him. Like, dude,
It's a
just the,
little. I like the kid. He's scary. He's like just hiding and shit between like pillars. They get to him. Turns out Walker, Trevette, they're literally always on these criminals' asses because even before they can get to Jesse, the criminals, to like pull him out, cops come in. One of the guys is like, yo, there's some cops here. And like with no hesitation, they're just like, put the guns away. We'll see you later, kid. And I guess they were like, we're just gonna like big dick past these cops and get out of here, which is what they try to do, Steve. Because Walker's like, hey, I want to talk to you. And the little like nerdy one's like, we don't talk to cops. I don't want to talk to you. We got nothing to talk about. Why do we need to talk to you? And Walker's like, this is why. Flashes the badge.
Yeah.
And then he's like, also, you got that little thingy thing right there in your waistband. And as soon as he points out the pistol the nerd has, shit gets frisky, Steve.
Yeah. And this is a 3-piece montage. I wish they gave Carlos more screen time because I've seen episodes where he's just destroying motherfuckers. But I mean, it's a pecking order, man. Of course, Walker's got to get the most shots, and then it's Trevette, and then it's Carlos. But they're laying down the law, Texas style.
Oh, I mean, call Terry Funk in, dude, because these thugs suck, Steve. Like, there's no thug that can stand up to Walker and Trevette. And then when you throw Carlos in the mix, throwing straight haymaker, because that's Carlos's thing. He's throwing kill shots with his right hand, Steve. A couple of roundhouses too, just to throw a little nice little sauce on the mix. But they dispatch these criminals easily, and then they get Jesse. But Jesse, as Carlos like approaches him, Jesse runs out of the boathouse right into Walker's arms. You know, he's still trying to run, Steve.
He doesn't want to talk, and because they're asking him again, man, tell us what you know. But Jesse's mute because those words that Blade just said to him recently, man, are echoing through his head. If you tell anyone about this, your precious little mom is dead.
Forever. He's a statue, Steve. He does not want to get his mom killed. He doesn't want to get fucked up. The guy that you said, I forget what his name is. He's like the mean cop in the good cop bad cop scenario. He's fucking pissed. He's convinced Jesse's the cop killer. Jesse's mom is just sitting there like, there's no way.
No way.
He reads Smurfs comics. Like, I don't think he's killing cops yet.
I just took him to Little Rascals on Ice last week.
The only thing he's killing are the bra and panties pages of the JCPenney catalog. I mean, I can't get these things unstuck. But, you know, Jesse's convinced that he's going to get everyone killed. He's willing to go to jail because he's not getting out. He's not giving up the goods. But at the police station, after they're getting grilled and like all that happens, Trevette's like filling out some paperwork. And he notices that a lot of those other tough kids and like the people involved, they're getting out because they got this like big dick lawyer that's like Dallas's fucking Johnny Cochran getting them all out of jail. And he just, you know, just takes a little note. It's like, all right, that's weird.
It's ironic. Lawrence Patterson is his name.
Yeah. Cut to jail now. And this is where DJ from Roseanne, I mean, he's in. He's more than 90 days in it. He's institutionalized because he gets a warning from the attorney because he's speaking to this attorney too because it's Blade's obviously footing the bill for the Lost Boys. And the lawyer's like, look, man, you cannot let Mr. Blade down, okay? You understand that. And DJ's like, never have, never will.
And after that, we see Snake or DJ. We're just gonna call you. Your mama call you DJ. I'm gonna call you DJ. This motherfucker holds a shank up to Jesse's neck. Listen, dog. Blade wants you to talk. Tell him it was you. Lawrence Patterson is our lawyer. And tell him you panicked and you blanked out. Do it, Jesse. Cause I'll be back. Bro, nobody believes you. You need more people. DJ.
Yeah, you live in a basement, dude. Fuck you. But I mean, literally, Jesse's gonna get shanked in prison. This kid went from doing book reports to about to get fisted and shanked in jail from whatever's going on here.
By DJ.
DJ's off the rails. God knows what Roseanne did to him. Then we cut to police HQ, and Walker and Trevette are like looking into that lawyer, but they can't trace the payments. You know, there's a bunch of shell corporations to this lawyer. They want to figure out who the guy footing the bill is, but this guy's clearly, he knows what he's doing. But one of the things that got Trevette's eyes, like I saw one of the places that was on this is this place. It's an arcade in the hood. Hey, we go take a look down there because it's in the hood.
They spell attack with no C.
Yeah, and Walker's like, clearly that's it. So they go down to the arcade. They're going around. They're showing some photos to kids, T2 style, you know. Maybe Budnick's in there saying he doesn't know who that is. I don't know who John Connor is, but Blade comes right up to the Rangers. He doesn't give a shit. He's a criminal mastermind, Steve. Like I said, this motherfucker knows. And he's like, oh, hey, Rangers, this is what I do when I get pulled over. You're very just like customer service. Like, oh, thank you, sir. Mr. Ranger, sir. Hey. And he just seems like a good guy, you know? And he's like, yeah, you know, I help these kids out. I hope these kids aren't doing anything crazy. And, you know, they're talking to him. Apparently he's good with fixing pinball machines because God knows that's how you got to keep these places running. Am I right? He plays it good. I mean, this motherfucker has a poker face. He's not sweating. He's just looking like fucking Nitro. You know, he's just killing it. Just very handsome, very subdued, Steve.
Burglary? Wow, I sure hope it wasn't White Boys. And we find out that Blade was a Navy SEAL as well. So he's got a military background. And Blade, he has no idea what could have happened. That's what he said. But, you know, he's kind of copping a plea for these boys. You know, maybe it's from them being from divorced households and just, you know, coming from a beaten path in life. You know,
down on their
that.
luck. You know, maybe they got a couple of hot moms, but whatever. You guys come back. Next game of pinball's on me, guys. Enjoy your day. So the Rangers leave. Walker does do that check. They find out all those details, and they find out a couple other things too. But while they're doing that, before we get to the results, we see Squints, Bobby. And all this turmoil, he's feeling down. He's even got a nice little call out to Sandlot. His, like, you know,
his mitt.
He's got his mitt. He's sitting there just remembering the good times with Benny the Jet, Smalls, a couple of s'mores. How'd I get to killing cops or being a part of that? So he's feeling bad. Yeah, dude. That's what happened. He got the pussy and it turned like he's just trying to get money to pay for dates and stuff and he can't afford it.
She turned him out.
God damn. Simp ass. Squints ass. It happens to the best of us, bud. Jesse's mom, we cut to her and she's kind of getting ready. You know, she's feeling terrible because her kid may have killed cops. But as she's getting ready, she gets kidnapped, Steve. Blade and his gang are out here, you know?
Kick in the doorway on the 4th floor. All you heard was Papa, don't hit me no more.
Oh my God, is that Nitro? And then we cut to prison again. Jesse, he gets called into like one of the meeting rooms by the lawyer, Lawrence Patterson, attorney at law. And Lawrence is like, look, you're in some deep shit, but turns out I'm the best lawyer money can buy. So if you work with us, I can get you into a juvenile court. Bing, bang, boom. You're going to be fine. But before I do that and agree to that, I'm going to need you to sign a full confession that says that you shot the cop. And Jesse's like, wait, why would I do that? I didn't do that. And he's like,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you maybe you're misremembering. So he slides that little confession over, but on the confession is a Polaroid of his mother tied up.
Shortly before her gangbang.
What was the chick from Married with Children? Lethal Weapons. She, you know, it's one of those situations. But Jesse's in a real hard spot here, Steve. He's basically got to sign this fucking confession. I have to point out that, you know, shame on the cop who's sitting right outside. You can hear what's going on. Can you not stop that? You're right there, sir.
Well, I mean, how about we just cover all of that with the fact that fingerprints do exist in 1999. So I think all of this really could have been avoided. But, to stretch this shit out for an hour, they don't exist.
Yeah. Texas don't have that kind of laws, Steve. But after talking to Jesse, the good honorable lawyer, Lawrence, whatever his fuck his name is, he talks to DJ, aka Snakes. And he's like, look, just want to give you the heads up. Dick Boy confessed. So we're good to go here. Go ahead and take care of business. So now, even if Jesse does the right thing here, DJ, it's time to put him on ice. Can't have a confession. Can't change his
Time to go
words.
kill him.
Yeah. Kill it. It's killer season, Steve. Cameron style. But so that's happening. Trevette and Walker now figure out all this shit about Blade. He's a highly trained Navy SEAL. He's even juicier than that, and all the accolades he has. He got connected to a bunch of thefts while he was in the Marines or the Navy SEALs, and he actually got discharged from the military because of that. So this guy, while he served this country, was a hero. He's got a little dirt under his fingernails, Steve. A little bit of shenanigans.
And they also find out that Jesse confessed, but Walker's still not moved by this. Like, something just doesn't add up. This kid, no, I know a killer when I see one. This kid ain't no killer.
Everyone else wasn't nervous except Jesse. That tells me he's innocent. But just, instead of guessing anymore, finally Squints gets his nuts and comes in. He's like, listen, guys. And he tells them what's going on. He spills the beans. So he does the right thing. The cops know. But unfortunately, in jail, that don't matter, Steve. So we cut back to jail. And, this is straight locked up abroad status, Steve. DJ is about to do the business. He's got the shank. And literally before he pushes it into the throat, Walker he's like, stop right there. And red-handed. What are the ramifications if you get prior to stabbing somebody in jail? Do you get some extra charges, Steve?
In front of a Texas Ranger? Oh, man. And it's something about Ranger and Trevette. They make it at the very last second. It is really the whole crew because Carlos is there too. I like how Snake is just casually saying, hey, Jesse, come here because I'm about to kill you.
What do you got? Come on, man. I like Jesse too. He's like, it's a very little kid. Like, come on, man. I didn't fucking say anything, man.
I did everything you needed. But yeah, Blade told me to make sure you don't change your mind. Yeah.
I gotta get back to my house before my mom finds out about this. She's crazy. But then we cut to the arcade, Steve. So the jig's up for the Blade. The cops kind of know what's going on, but Blade's got the mom. This is the Bond villain 101. You just got to keep talking. You got to share the legend. So he's sitting there telling her all this shit. Oddly enough, also in Blade's favor of coolness, he has a pet falcon that he just has chilling in his office that he's like stroking as he's talking to her. Like, yeah, so anyway, your kid's about to get suicided in jail.
What's with the leather helmet on the falcon? Like, is it a falcon or?
It's a falcon. And Steve, I looked that up. That's actually, you have to keep it blind because otherwise it'll go attack mode. So you do that so it doesn't go, it stays docile. But,
okay.
So it's, he's sitting here, he's got his little animal weapon. I like Blade's style, Steve. Like, he might not be the best criminal, but this guy knows how to do it. He's got kids working for him. He's got all this money pouring in. He's got a pet falcon, bunch of neon signs in his office, and he's got laser tag at will. Free laser.
He's no Fresh Squeeze, but
no, Fresh Squeeze would just eat this dude fucking for lunch. But unfortunately for Blade, Trevette, Carlos, and Walker show up, and it's not to play laser tag, Steve. They're here to fucking settle some scores.
Tag, you're it. And they have a shootout in this little ass arcade.
Yeah, and I gotta say, the criminals, I know they're kids for the most part, but goddamn, they can't hit the broadside of a barn. They like Walker and his boys are just like walking around willy-nilly. They fucking take one shot, a guy goes down. The other guys are like, nothing. Hey Blade, you were a fucking Navy SEAL. Train these fucking guys how to shoot a fucking gun, for God's sake. You'd be fine. This one guy knows how to shoot. Your problems are solved.
But Blade, he heads to the laser tag room, but Walker, he's en route, man, and he sneaks up on Blade. And then they have a martial arts sequence like no other. Blade
I
is
mean,
actually hanging with Walker in this.
usually, the criminal might get like a punch in, like one lucky shot. Blade gets a couple of fucking shots in, Steve. This guy, he was a Navy SEAL. He knows what he's doing, but that doesn't mean shit to Walker. He's seen it all, Steve. This motherfucker fought Bruce Lee, for God's sake.
It was all good until that crispy roundhouse. I
Yeah.
mean, that took all the life out of him because he's still going after that, but like it was a wrap. He
Yeah,
had jumped the shark by the time that happened.
I mean, Walker's a ghost, Steve. You put him in a shadowy laser tag situation, he just goes into the shadows. You're doomed. It's over with. Even with all the laser tag knowledge that Blade has from the decades of playing in this place, it's nothing. He's lying bloody on the floor, but mom's in another room being guarded by a couple dudes with guns. So, he still has to fucking kind of maneuver a little bit. And by maneuver, he just has to walk in the door and just shoot both of the guards perfectly in the shoulder. So it's not a kill shot, Steve.
Your Princess Peach is in another castle.
Yeah. But this is easy work for Walker. He does this on literally every week. So Jesse's mom, she's safe. Jesse not stabbed up in prison. Everyone knows what's going on. But Steve, there's still one slime ball out there that hasn't gotten his just desserts yet. So we go from that crime scene to an award ceremony.
Humanitarian of the Year award. And Lawrence Patterson, LP, if you will, he is the recipient. But right before he accepts his award, he's under arrest. And by the way, have some cake, Lawrence.
Yeah. You're not winning humanitarian of the award. You're winning Dick of the Year award, bitch.
There
Going
you go.
to jail. And then, so now it's all good, Steve. Cop dead, obviously. There was a horrific murder at the beginning of this episode. And I do want to say one last thing that I noticed. That cop got shot. Not that much blood. It wasn't that bloody, but that's CBS, But there's a couple of kids that need to learn a lesson here, Steve. Squints, Jesse, they show up at the Dallas Hope Center, which I don't know what it is, but it's some place that you
help
do
our people excel.
Well, you do community service there, Steve. Instead of picking up trash by the roadside, they're cleaning toilets at the Dallas Hope Center, And after that, we'll see what else, because they got 300 hours of community service to complete. So good luck. Good luck. Jesse now can walk through life and know the real reality that you can go from, playing GoldenEye with your buddies to almost getting butt fucked and shanked in a jail cell, only to be saved by Walker, Texas Ranger. So, he might not have a father, but now he has a father figure, Steve. So shout out to Jesse.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be locked up in a cell with Snake.
Hell no, dude.
I'd rather clean up the Hope Center with a toothbrush. Yeah, I mean,
dude, I love that. Probably the only acting that kid ever did, other than play DJ Tanner or DJ Connor, because this is truly just not the look,
Yeah.
DJ Qualls, you can do the roles he does, nerdy, weird, not cold-blooded killer Snake.
I didn't realize, two ABC sitcoms that happened at the same time had a kid named DJ. I'm today years old when I realized that. But
yeah, it's confusing. But hey, don't get it. This just goes to show you, the Foot Clan, whatever Blade's gang is, it's all cool in the gang if you get to go play arcade games. But eventually, you're going to be asked to stab a kid to death, and that's just not cool. So stay off the streets, kids. Stay in school.
You can be better than that. But any callbacks, honorable mentions, or takeaways?
I do, Steve. I went to visit. We're this is around the holidays. I went to visit the old folks for Christmas, and was blessed with some other gifts that I went through. But I went through some cards, and I found some true winners that I wanted to show you before I show the other stuff. And I also found something weird that I was hoping you could remind me of what this was. But first off is a Perrysburg Junior High athletic pass for Matthew Geddick for 1995 to 1996. It's laminated. I have no fucking idea what the fuck this is for, but
Yeah.
we're here.
That was before me.
I have a Latrell Sprewell card. This is prior to choking PJ Carlissimo, I believe. But I always loved Latrell Sprewell. I just thought he was a G. And now we're going to get into some really notable stuff. I have a Tim Hardaway rookie card.
Killer crossover.
Killer crossover. I don't know. It's not his rookie card, Steve, but I have a Ric Flair WCW card, mint condition. And his motto, I'm the latest and the greatest. I don't get that. But Ric Flair is one of wrestling's leading men. He brings quickness, power, and plenty of flash to the sport. His reputation as a lady killer is well known and is only matched by his ability to master his opponents. So, Nature Boy, we love you, Ric Flair. I have an Isaiah Thomas USA Dream Team card, mint condition.
Dream Team 2.
Okay. I have a Michael Jordan mint condition card, which, I think we all had this one.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to ask you this. Reggie Lewis of the Celtics, is that the guy who died?
He died on court, yeah, in the off season.
So I got his card, mint condition. I don't know why.
R.I.P.
I have a Tony Kukoc NBA All-Star Weekend highlight card, early days. So Tony Kukoc. And then this must be Dream Team 2. This is a Sean Kemp Dream Team card. So we got that. I thought I found like a card that was like my grandfather's, but it's just a throwback card, Whitey Ford. So shout out Everclear,
Wow.
Everlast. But, it's still in mint condition. I don't know what that's worth. And then, Steve, the real winners. And these are the things I think I could actually get paid for. So I found my lunch boxes from when I was a real little kid. So I got a Ninja Turtles lunch box. And I was like, surely everything's not here. Complete with the thermos, Steve. And and for some reason a Super Friends thermos. So that's pretty dope. And then I don't know if you remember this cartoon, the real Ghostbusters cartoon, the real Ghostbusters, not that bullshit.
I like that version too, man. No hate on Tracy.
No, I liked it too. But this one, I got the fucking thermos for this, Steve. So I think I'm about to get some money off of this shit. So any listeners or viewers, the store's open.
Faithful
90s,
5.
Yeah, dude. The expo said the 90s expo, it's ready to go. But that's it. That's all I got.
I want to call attention to the fact that I didn't turn my mic on until halfway through the Walker Texas Ranger. So if anyone listens to this, if you made it all the way through, you're a trooper because the audio.
That's crazy. The audio sounded fine. That's weird.
You'll notice a difference.
Weird.
Yeah. In 1994, Martin is airing No Justice, No Peace. And that's the episode where Tommy got the draws, dog. And 1999, SNL's airing episode with Beck and Bill Paxton as the host. And that's a solid one. It's got a really funny Titanic parody. But yeah. Thank you again. If you made it through this episode, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Please tell your sister, the eyes of the Ranger are upon you. Anything you say you're gonna do. When you're in Texas, look behind you. Because that's where Ranger's gonna be.
Bam.
Check out Food Show Fanatics as well as Crushgasm and our guy Clark the Shark on Podcastle. This is Steve G and Mad G with
Happened in the 90s.
Matt was the fat kid, Steve was the flat kid. Life wasn't always great, but you know what was? The 90s. Happened in the 90s. Yeah!
Bam. Bam.